All right. Mine is mainly to reiterate the statement that have been said all along for the last 3 weeks. The Constitution of Kenya is very clear. The sovereignty belongs to the people, and the people are us, not any other person who is in their imagination. And number two is that when we say the sovereignty belongs to the people, is that this sovereignty is the sovereignty. Sovereignty means here a right to determine self-determination, how we want to be ruled and whom we want to rule us. As long as it is within the Constitution, we have the power. And in this protest is yes within the Constitution. Article 37 was not just put there out of nowhere. It was put there out of necessity, out of situation that we faced before. And therefore, no one should sell us anything that there are laws that stop us from doing any other thing. Then number two is that this is our generational issue. It is not an issue for dialogue. It is not an issue about any other person. It is our generational issue. And it is our generation to determine what happens and how we want to ensure that happens. And the only mission here is one, constitutionalism, two, transparency, three, accountability. And lastly, all that means is Ruto must go. And anything that he stands for on the hangovers of the Kanu regime. Thank you so much.
Thanks. 6,000. And then I'm stealing minutes here for you guys because ideally we are closing. 6,000 a minute and then we'll have closing remarks. I see the Chief Justice is also back. Thank you. Go on, please.
Matt, I'm here first of all to condemn Kenyans because we are our own enemies. Because we can't be going on streets and there are people who are sitting indoors waiting for us to go there and fight for them. We are fighting for our own country. Guys, I'll tell you this. Kama mdosi wako amekukalia, mwambie you are a Kenyan before you started doing his work. And go on those streets and fight for a better Kenya. Nobody is going to sit indoors. Me, I'll tell you this for free. Tutoke si wote tuende streets and that is how we will win this war. Mimi mambo ya kukuja spaces, we come on these spaces daily. We talk, we don't action. And the moment we don't action, the government beats us on our own game. Ruto is a strategist. Look what he did on Tuesday. Just put a press conference before Maandamano starts at 10 a.m. And that one, he has beaten you in that game because you have to wait for that press before you go to that Maandamano. If we could have been in town by 9 a.m. so that he addresses the nation while Maandamano has started, angetoka hapo kama amefuta cabinet. Angejua these people are not joking and they don't want to negotiate. There is no room for negotiation. Talking stage we have left for our girlfriends and our family. Right now, we are fighting for this country. And as a patriot of this country, kindly don't sit indoors and wait because you are being paid 20,000, 30, 50, 60, 70. What is 100,000? Go die for your country. You'll have a better tomorrow. You'll have a better paying job. Wacha kukaa kwa nyumba because your boss, I don't know, my job needs you. Right now, your country needs you more than anything. I'm just saying this because we've been talking here daily, from Monday to Sunday on spaces, talking no action, The other time it was 10 million strong. I went to the streets with my brother Ayo and Kowino and we were there. On Sunday we were there. All protests, we always find ourselves there, alone, fighting for this country. But other people, wanangoja waambiwe tutoke tuende. Unangoja nani? Toka tukutane tao. Occupy CBD. The president should know these people. And I'm saying this with anger. And if there is anybody who want to arrest me because I told people to go out, come and arrest me. I'll gladly give you my location where I stay because I don't fear death. If there is nothing I fear, me I don't fear death. I only fear my mother and God. The rest I don't fear. Na nikikufa anasema muende pale Jamia Mosque, mununue shuka ya 30 bob, munifunge kama nyama, muende munizike. Don't spend a lot of money on me. Guys, let's wake up and fight for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, 6,000. Time has really, really gone. Nation, just a minute and then we close. So, yeah.
Thank you, and I acknowledge Dr. Miguna in Berlin. When we met in 2018, he talked of the staying power of the youth, which we tended to oppose, but now it is real that the youth have the staying power. So kudos, Dr. for that foresight. So my question here is, don't you think that this youth Gen Z's revolution will be more lethal if we target the soft underbelly that has characterized what is normalized as the vice in the current political class, what I call materialistic consequentialism, in the sense that people don't say the end justifies the means, even if the means is impure. So can we fight this materialistic consequentialism philosophy and position within the political class? Because this is the root cause of rottenness in our society. And as I conclude, Professor Kiruta Kibwana yesterday on this space gave a very moving example of the youth, because of despair, unemployment, social pressures, are going for what we call aided suicide. They have been contemplating suicide, and that is why they are now daring the guns, the live bullets, so that it can be an easy alternative. They call aided suicide. So it is that grave, and we must act fast so that we can liberate the future for the youth out of this mass unemployment and economic disenfranchisement. Thank you, Dr. Rees.
Thank you so much, Nashon. Now we close. So closing remarks from Tony Gashoka, then Dr. Mutunga, and then Dr. Miguna. And as they do that, let's not forget to build the network by following each other. So do follow the host, co-host speakers, then look left and right and follow each other. Tony?
Well, I want to close by reminding Kenyans that there was no greater army, more armed to the teeth than the Boers of South Africa. They had tanks on the street, they had machine guns, and even did the Soweto massacre where they murdered children en masse. By the end of the uprising in South Africa, they were running to remove Mandela from jail, forcing him to leave so that he can bring some order in South Africa. I want to give hope to this nation. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., only when it's dark enough can you see the stars. I also want to take this opportunity, because of time, to thank Hilary and Marge and all of you by hosting this space, because I tell you, even in democratic evolutions, we always talked about the fourth estate, meaning media. But media has transformed in the internet age to become where we are now. Where we are is where the people are. To create communication and information is what will create the resolve and the determination of our people to liberate themselves, so that one day we can say we are free at last, and thank God Almighty, we are free at last. With those very many words, I want to encourage everyone that every day we wake up, we must wake up with one conviction, that Ruto is no bigger than Moi and others who have gone before him. Ruto must go. And if you make the decision, the numbers of the Jay-Z, the numbers of Kenyans are in their millions. We will have more than 17 to 20 million votes by the time we reach 2027. Ruto will go, and Ruto must go.
Thank you so much, Tony. Over to you, Dr. Mutunga.
Thank you. Actually, I didn't drop off. When I was looking at the question that I was asked, I was still listening, and the answers came from Miguna. There was somebody called Degwa who also weighed in, and Neto. So I don't want to go there except to say we're talking a political movement here. So if there are, and I know there are some Gen Zs that, and I've been told by some people that there are some people who have gone to court actually under Article 1, basically seeking to withdraw the delegated authority, of some institutions, and that they want to exercise their sovereign power, directly, okay? It could be a strategy, but I mean, if certain GCs want to go the court route, and others don't want, I think these strategies have to be, to be discussed, because I think if they want to go to court, somebody is going to say that the judiciary can't deliver the right judgment. There could be a debate around that. Let's flag that issue, as an issue of strategy. But fundamentally, I agree that what is happening is actually a political movement that even if it's going to use the legal path at any point, it will be doing that, to aid the fundamental, political strategy. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much, and we keep talking. Thanks.
Thanks so much for coming and for sharing with us your knowledge. Over to you, Dr. Miguna.
Maj, thank you very much. I thank all the hosts and all the speakers, all the people who have listened in quietly and those who have spoken. And I thank the Gen Zs and the millennials for leading the struggle. I want to say three things. Number one, this struggle does not belong to one generation. I have been on this already, and I think we should make this clear every time. This is the struggle of our ancestors as much as it is our struggle and the struggle of the Gen Zs and also the millennials. Because what our ancestors and our grandparents fought for during colonialism, we have not obtained. We don't have our land back. Our sovereignty belongs to us and does not have to be vested on us by anyone, but it's been subverted successively by successive regimes. So we need to get that. We don't have all the freedoms that we assert we have in the Bill of Rights, including the freedom of association, including the freedom to protest. That is why they are shooting at us, including freedom of the speech. That's why the president Ruto keeps attacking us, calling us violent when we are just speaking. Let no one tell us that because we are not Gen Zs, this is not our struggle. That's divide and rule. Don't let anybody tell you that CJ Mutunga is not a Gen Z, therefore he should not be speaking. That I, Miguna, am not a Gen Z, therefore I should not be speaking. That's parochialism. That's sectarianism. That's a divide and rule tactic. We must reject it because our struggles are based on the struggles of the people who are long gone. Each generation stands on the shoulders of the previous one. Without that, there is no need for a struggle and we can never succeed. So we should get that in our heads and reject these people who are bringing divisive messages and ideas into our heads. We are together in this struggle. We are not united. We are not divided. The fourth point is this, and I have seen it. As I have said before, they have made messages and they are spreading messages of confusion. Let us not allow ourselves to be confused. We could be demonstrating and protesting every single day. There is not one day that is reserved for protests. As I have seen, that they were saying that the previous protests of last week failed, but there were people in Mlolongo and other places that were protesting and were very successful. The protests are going on all over the country. It's not just in Nairobi. Let's make it organic. Let's continue to do so. Let's make it huge. And it does not matter if only a handful show up. It does not matter as long as we continue on it until we achieve our goals. I wanted to say that we cannot call the martyrs, the people who have been murdered by the state goons, as having committed aided suicide. That kind of language is dangerous. These people did not go to the street to die. Rex did not want to die. Denzel did not want to die. Onsongo did not want to die. All these people did not want to die. They went there. Yes, they were fearless, but they went there to protest in exercise of their constitutional rights. But they did not go there to invite the police to shoot them. When they die, we should call them heroes. We should not say that they committed suicide or they wanted themselves to be killed. No. They were killed by cold-blooded murderers. Let us call the killers murderers. Let us not blame the victims. Let's blame the perpetrators. The last point I want to make is basically in response to my friend CJ. CJ, I actually believe that going to court is not a good strategy because it attempts to validate something that doesn't need to be validated. Our rights under Article 1 do not need validation by the courts. This is something that I was being told when Uhuru Kenyatta forced me into exile. And people are telling me, oh, the courts gave you. The courts did not give me any rights. The courts simply affirmed the rights. So if somebody is going to court for the affirmation, no problem. But we should not make anybody think that if the court does not affirm it, therefore the right does not exist. Because the danger is, if you go to court saying, we have the right under Article 1 to exercise our sovereignty directly, what if the court says no? And then you give the regime the weapon now to attack you, saying the court has already ruled that you cannot do what you are doing. So therefore you fold and you call off the protest. I think that is not a strategy. That is actually naive. That is trying to buy into something that you have no control over. We already have the constitution which we gave ourselves. That's enough. Let's not look for validation from the courts because the courts can be used against us. We should only go to court for things that we are almost certain that even if the court rules against us, it cannot be used by the regime. That would be good strategy. So as I leave, I would like to say, I don't think that this organic, tribeless, leaderless movement should be controlled by anyone, including the ones that are spreading posters saying demonstrations can only happen on this day or that day, or between these hours and these hours. And that makes me agree with 6,000 who said the less spaces, the better. But spaces are important spaces for mobilization, for asserting our rights. But the more of us on the streets rather than the spaces, the better. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. No, have a good day. Have a good afternoon. For those who are where it is morning, have a good morning. Let us continue the struggle. A luta continua. Viva.
Thank you so much, General, and thanks everyone also for listening. And so now, Hillary, come on and close the meeting. As we wait for Hillary to close, Biril, closing remarks? Oh, Hillary, are you there? Okay, Biril, your closing remarks as we, yeah.
Good evening, Marge. Good evening, Daktari. We appreciate you, the two doctors, for your input and your insights. I want to appreciate everyone that was in this space for the humble cause. And it's not a struggle. I say it's a journey destined somewhere. So let's keep it up. Let's keep on with the fight. The dawn is soon. Have a blessed evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Be Real. Hillary, are you there? I think Hillary had some meeting also in the parallel, so let me give her more time. Daktari, Daktari and Tony, thank you so much. Feel free to take a leave as I wait for Hillary to come on board again, because otherwise we it's only him who can close the space. As we wait for Hillary, I'll give you guys 15 minutes. So those who are waiting, just or Tony, do you want to say something as I give people 15 minutes and then we can close? Okay, so then let me add and then get Hillary. You. Okay, Kingsman. Kingsman, you haven't spoken.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe add on something that Daktari has said about us going to court. If you remember, there is a team that went to High Court when the CS for Defense deployed the military, and I think as that